Greetings and welcome to Miss Phelan's Earth Science videos. In this video, we are going to be doing some practice problems looking at sun's path in the different seasons. If we look at our first question, well, let's take a step back. Whenever we start these problems, what we want to do is see what the diagram is telling us. So in this question, we have a celestial sphere showing the path of the sun. And the question says, what is the date represented by the diagram below? So the first thing we want to do is look at the diagram and see what information is given to us. If we look at the diagram, here we have the sun's path. We see the sun is rising here. And if we look, the sun seems to be rising in between north and east. So it's rising in the northeast. How do I know it's rising here? Well, if I look at the whole path of the sun, I see this 1 tells me that's the first spot of the sun. It rises up to 2. And then it comes down, starts to set, hits position 3, and then comes further back down to hit position 4. So the sun is rising here, reaching the highest point at 2, and then setting on this side of the diagram. So if I look to where the sun is setting, it seems to be setting here, and that's in the northwest. If I also look at the sun at its highest point in the sky, we don't know the exact altitude, but it seems to look like it's pretty high in the sky. So if I look at this celestial sphere, I see that the sun is rising in the northeast, setting in the northwest, and the noon sun is high in the sky. If I put all of that evidence together, then I can look at this diagram and realize that this must be in summer, possibly on the summer solstice, which we know occurs on June 21st. Let's try another one. Let's look at diagram number 2. Again, we have a celestial sphere with an observer in the middle, and we have the path of the sun. Our sun's path is this black line right here. This diagram already had the arrows, so we could see that the sun is going up here. It reaches its highest point in the sky, and then starts to come back down. The sun seems to rise at this point here. So that's in between south and east. The sun is rising in the southeast. The sun goes up to its highest point in the sky, and even though it's the highest point, it still seems pretty low. The sun is pretty low in the sky. And then the sun starts to set and sets in the southwest. So if I put all of this evidence together, I see that the sun is rising in the southeast, setting in the southwest, and overall the noon sun is pretty low in the sky. So if I put all of that evidence together, it looks like this must be winter, perhaps the winter solstice, which is on December 21st. Now, sometimes they might show us a diagram that has all of the dates that we normally talk about: December, September, June, the summer solstice, the winter solstice, and the fall equinox. We also know that although this diagram says September, this date could also be March 21st, because the fall and spring equinox have the same path for the sun. So if they already give us the 4 dates that we normally talk about, what is this question asking? It says, on the diagram below, draw an X where the sun might be at noon on August 18th. So for this question, I want to try to figure out in which location would the sun be in August. Let's think about what we know. The sun reaches its highest point in the sky in June. It can't go any higher than this, so we know not to draw past the sun. The sun reaches its lowest spot in the sky in December, so it can't get any lower than this. That means that the sun all year round only flows somewhere between this area. We want to look at August. So what you want to do is figure out where would August be, between which months that are listed here would August be. August is in the summer, so it would be after June 21st, after the summer solstice. But it's before September, so it would be before the fall equinox. Maybe somewhere right about here. This X could tell us where the sun could be at noon on August 18th. We're making an estimate here. It's about halfway, maybe a little bit closer to September than it is to June.